Welcome to rSlash, Am I Wrong?, where OP ends a 20-year marriage over cheating. Am I wrong for leaving my husband over a relatively small incident? Long story short, my husband has been a serial cheater for most of our marriage. What? How is a serial cheater a relatively small incident? What? Whatever boundary we set up and agreed to together, he violates it. I've spent years setting a boundary, being crushed when he violates it, sweeping it under the rug, and then setting a new boundary, which eventually is broken. Towards the end of summer, I'd finally had enough and ended it. He convinced me to give him one more chance with therapy. I agreed. He's made a lot of progress, and he's implemented many changes that I've been asking for years. But even still, I just haven't been feeling the connection. Last week, I caught him again red-handed. The act itself wasn't a big deal to me. It was the fact that, yet again, trust was broken. It just feels like I can't trust him to keep his word. I said that it's over. I'm done. We had a therapy session this week, and our therapist actually inferred that I'm making a bit of a hasty decision, choosing to end a long-term marriage over a relatively small infraction. I said that it's not just about this incident, but about the whole relationship and the breach of trust. He said that a few months of therapy isn't really enough to expect drastic change, and that I might want to consider and give him more time since he's actively pursuing therapy and making an effort. OP, honestly, this therapy is just putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. Move on and let this guy screw whoever he wants to, because obviously he's going to do it with or without your approval. Am I wrong for ending a 20-year marriage because I learned that my wife cheated on me while we were dating? I'm a 43-year-old man, and my wife is 44. We've been married for 20 years. We started dating in high school when I was a junior and she was a senior. We were long distance for our first 2 years of college while I was in high school and did 1 year of community college. Then, we went to college in the same city for a year and have lived together ever since. We got married the summer after I graduated college. Our marriage has been pretty great so far, but I initiated a divorce after I discovered that she was sleeping with multiple other men for the 2 years that we were long distance. Just after Christmas, we got together with a few friends of hers from college to catch up, have dinner, and hang out. We talked about a lot of stuff, and my wife mentioned that we met in high school. Not that we dated, just that we met. Her old college roommate commented that it was crazy that we met up in high school, had a few wild years in college, and then ended up together. I played along and commented that I didn't know that my wife was as crazy as I was. The roommate started to tell a story, but my wife cut her off and said that she was uncomfortable about it. I sensed something was up, so I said that we actually started dating in high school and we were together for my wife's entire time at college. All of my wife's friends got real quiet, and the rest of the dinner was awkward. On the way out, one of her other roommates took me aside and said that I should have an honest conversation about what happened in college. I asked my wife on the way home, and she kind of blew me off. Unlike how she blew all those other guys off. I told her it was important that she be honest with me, and again, she said that it wasn't important. When we got home, I told her that I was going to stay at my brother's house until she was ready to talk about what happened in college. The next day, she came over and admitted to sleeping with several men during her first 2 years at college. She said that she didn't consider it a big deal at the time because we were long distance, and she didn't think that a high school romance would last. I pressed her for more details, and she said that it was at least 10 different men, including at least 3 guys that she introduced me to as friends when I came to visit on weekends, and 1 guy that she's still in contact with. I told her that I wanted a divorce, and I'd be starting the paperwork as soon as I could, which I did January 2nd. Her family and most of my family is telling me that I shouldn't throw away my marriage over a few mistakes. I've stood by my belief that cheating on me with multiple men for years is unacceptable no matter when it happened. And the fact that she continued to maintain relationships with these guys right in front of me was an unacceptable amount of disrespect. We have 2 kids, but they're ages 17 and 19, and I'll believe they'll understand why I need to end the marriage. Am I wrong for leaving? I feel like I'm going crazy with the amount of people telling me to overlook years of infidelity and decades of lies. OP, man, there's no turning back from this. Absolutely. A few mistakes? This is 10 plus mistakes in college with 10 different guys, and then repeatedly making mistakes over and over the course of decades as she lies to you day after day about these men in her lives who she slept with. Oh man. OP, I feel really bad for you, man. Your wife is a piece of work. I sure hope your 2 kids are actually your kids. Also, OP adds in an edit some clarifying details, and listen to this, guys. This is so bad. This is actually so bad. OP says, we were definitely exclusively dating at the time. First, dating culture was a lot different 20 years ago, so exclusive was kind of the default for most people. Second, we had a long and difficult discussion before she left for college about continuing the relationship long distance. She specifically wanted to stay together and even joked about her dad coming after me if I started sleeping around with girls at my school. Finally, at my senior prom, she wasn't able to attend and was very upset when I proposed going with a platonic female friend of mine. As a result, I ended up skipping my prom and hanging out with her instead. While we never said the word exclusive, I think the above reasons, combined with the general relationship before she left, are more than enough to assume exclusivity. Also, I followed up with that one friend who said that I should have an honest conversation. She told me that 10 guys sounds like it's on the low end, and that her biggest concern was that there was apparently at least one pregnancy scare that I didn't know about. Honestly, I don't really think that changes much. It's less about the number for me, and more about the fact that she seems incapable of recognizing why this was wrong or why I feel betrayed. Yo, man, this gets worse and worse. OP, man, your wife is awful. She was being all jealous and possessive of you while you were in high school while she was off sucking some other dude off. Give me a break, man. Oh my god, the title of this post. Am I wrong for asking my husband to pick between me or his pregnant mistress? My husband had an affair that lasted for 6 months, and he got his girlfriend pregnant. I didn't know that last detail until recently. Before the pregnancy came to light, we decided to give it a trial and reconcile. He said that he was so sorry, and that he would always pick me, and that his girlfriend was a mistake. Now that I found out that she was pregnant, while he was drunk, I told him that he should choose between his 2 families. He got angry and asked me to let him be a parent to the new kid and to stay with him because he loves me. I was about to agree, and then he showed me a text, while drunk, about how the 2 of them were planning a wedding. Am I wrong for setting up boundaries and asking him to either pick me or his pregnant mistress? Opie, the only thing you're doing wrong here is choosing to continue to be in this relationship. What do you mean, pick me? Girl, pick yourself. Dump this loser and move on. Man, some people have no self-esteem. I feel bad for OP, honestly. Am I wrong for losing it when I found out that my underage niece, who's 15, is dating a guy who's at least 21? You read that correctly. I'm feeling like a crazy person for even asking if I'm wrong. My niece, Maddie, is 15. She's visiting my parents and my sister Ashley, who's 20, for the holidays. I am too. We went to a festival tonight, and I was told that I'd meet Maddie's boyfriend. I was a bit shocked because Maddie is so young, but I'm a teacher as well, so I know that kids their age are probably thinking about dating a lot. I asked my mom and sister about how they met, and my mom said they met at church. And then when I asked what school the boy goes to, they seemed awkward and avoided the question. Imagine my shock when I meet the dude and he's balding. He also has the face of a 25-year-old. I love OP's storytelling here. I point blank in front of everyone asked him, "Hey buddy, how old are you?" He said 21. No effing way. He is not 21. I can tell. I turned to Maddie and asked, "How old are you?" She said, 15. I looked at the man and asked him, "Are you okay with dating a minor?" My parents flipped out and tried to hush me. I verbatim told them not to interrupt and to let the P word answer. My parents told me that I'm being accusatory and causing a scene. They took the P word home. When the rest of us went home, I blew up and asked if my brother, Maddie's dad, knew about the grown adult chasing his daughter. They told me not to meddle and that her parents were aware that she's seeing him. I repeated, no. My question wasn't if they knew she's dating him. My question was, do they know that he's a few years younger than myself? And for context, I'm 27. They started yelling, and I just decided to call my brother. I told him what was happening. He knew that his daughter found a boyfriend, but didn't know that the dude was a bald, grown man. Now my parents are pissed and saying that I'm overreacting and that I'm acting childish? They're saying it's not my place to meddle with how my brother chooses to raise his daughter, that it's a vacation fling, and that nothing will happen since it's only 2 weeks long. My sister even said that it's not that bad because the age of consent in our country is 16. She's right! Legally, that is our age of consent. But just because it's legal, doesn't mean it's moral. But it's not legal because she's not 16. I don't know. Am I insane here? Am I really overreacting? I want to go no contact with them after this because I 100% hate predators. We had a huge fight and words were said. Now I'm actually wondering if I'm wrong because my dad, mom, and sister are all saying that I'm overreacting. Am I the butthole here? You know, the funny thing about this, OP, is that we, as a society, have gotten together and we've all agreed that it's wrong, right? We've agreed that it's wrong so much that all of our lawmakers got together and made a law saying we, as a country, believe that it's wrong for a 15-year-old to date a 21-year-old. So much so that if you do it, you're going to jail. And then OP has to be like, am I wrong here? Am I the weird one? No, you're not the weird one. They're the weird ones. OP, maybe it's time to go over everyone's heads here and just report it, man. Talk to the cops. You said you're a teacher, right? Don't teachers have mandatory reporting policies? So just report them. Obviously, you know how to do it if you're a teacher, so maybe the cops will bust down his door and arrest him, and then you don't have to worry about this guy diddling your 15-year-old niece. Man, it's so funny to me they were trying to use Yeah, but 16's the age of consent. Yeah, well, she's not 16, is she? So that's literally you admitting that it is illegal. Am I wrong to force my husband to sleep outside in the cold? I'm in complete shock at the moment. My hands are shaking even writing this. I found out that my husband of 11 years has been living a double life and has been doing something so disgusting, I can't even fathom how this was getting past me in my own household. I feel so ashamed and so embarrassed. My husband is a truck driver, and more times than not, he'll be out trucking for months at a time. He doesn't really have to be out trucking that much, but he reassures me, telling me that it'll help him make more money. I thought nothing of it until recently. I feel so stupid because I didn't put 2 and 2 together that he's been making the same amount of money since he's been doing all this extra work. He wasn't out for months at a time back then, and he hasn't made more money now, so where's that extra time gone to? Well, I found out from a friend of his who revealed to me that he's not only been cheating on me with several hookers, but he's also been running around having an affair with his friend's daughter. Yo, what? How old? He's been letting her stay in his truck. I have no clue how old she is because the guy was steaming over the phone. I didn't even get a chance to ask him about her age. He came home last night and I couldn't even look at him. I was disgusted. I made him pack his stuff and told him to leave. He's been calling and texting nonstop, saying that he's out in the freezing cold in his truck and he doesn't want to get to a hotel because of her. All morning, he's been banging at the door, and part of me feels bad because of the weather. I just don't want to let him in. The other part of me wants to just leave him to the wolves and the elements. He keeps saying he wants to be at home because he works hard, he's cold, and he wants to explain. I just feel like there's nothing to explain though. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out right now. I feel so betrayed. My life is falling apart before my eyes. Words cannot describe the pain I feel. And I know what he did is so wrong, but am I wrong to not let him stay here until I figure out what I'm gonna do about him? I'm just so worried because we both have ownership of the house. I don't know if I'm even allowed to keep him out. So am I wrong to make him stay outside? Man, I checked OP's comments hoping that she would post an update about the kid's age, but unfortunately, we don't know. So, man, that sucks. I was just as curious as you guys are. Anyways, OP, I would say don't feel too bad about it. His hookers can keep him warm. Am I wrong for refusing to associate with my brother's unfaithful partner? Early last year, my brother Robert, who's 23, slept with a married woman, Yvonne, who's 23, and broke up their marriage. I happen to know Yvonne and her husband socially. The husband was very distressed during the whole affair and almost took drastic action. Initially, my brother and Yvonne pretended that they weren't a couple and that she was leaving her husband due to abuse. This is objectively a lie. Now, this is where I'm accused of being a butthole. Robert has repeatedly tried to patch things up and introduce Yvonne to the family. I told him directly that I will never acknowledge her existence. It got to the point where we were at a family event and he brought her over to stand in front of me. I just sat there silently as the two of them got increasingly frustrated, yelling at me to talk to Yvonne. I understand that people will be unfaithful for various reasons, but I just don't want to associate with cheaters and I don't feel like I should be compelled to. Am I wrong? Yo, this woman cheated on her husband and then told everyone that her husband was abusing her so that she could get out of the relationship scot-free without looking bad. What a winner. What a gem of a human being. You don't want to be friends with this woman? I'm so confused, OP. Why not? OP, I would just be like, well, I don't want to talk to her because I'm concerned about being accused of abuse. That was rSlash and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.